The Life and Times of Asshole Cocainomaine. Asshole Cocainomaine, often stylized as A $whole cocainomaine 3/4, was a rapper billionaire who has not gained popularity on YouTube or SoundCloud. Known by very few for an edgy and provocative style, his music often featured gritty lyrics and a dark, unfiltered approach. Cocainamaine's tracks tend to blend trap beats with experimental punk or even R&B sounds, sometimes folk music or shanties. Though far from mainstream, Asshole Cocainomaine has carved out a dedicated cult following, where he stands out for his unique persona and controversial content. Aliases: Paul Venus. Relatives: none. Affiliation: himself and money. Occupation: rapper, singer, songwriter, extra-dimensional philanthropist. Marital status: unknown. Date of birth: unknown. Place of birth: Detroit. Species: human, questionable. Gender: male, questionable. Height: 4 foot nothing. Weight: 140 pounds sterling. Eye color: 2. Debut: The Story of Harold, Werewolf Madonna. Early life. Asshole Cocainomaine was born Mohammed Arthur C. Jr. Vladimировich III on February 30th, 1982, to a single mother, unnamed. After being abandoned by his parent, Mohammed A.C. III began a descent into a life of crime and violence. Shortly after turning 3, he rebuked his birth name after contacts with his father failed. In a drunken rage, Mohammed AC3 changed his legal name to Asshole Cocainomaine 3/4. Barely making ends meet, working on the street busking or selling his tight boy mixtapes to passersby, Asshole Cocainomaine was known for an addiction to filling his asshole with cocaine. This experimental and dangerous form of cocaine usage is 14 times more potent than crack rocks, and is believed to have spawned the clenched jaw music style Cocainomaine became known for in the early days. Marge Discharge, the first breakout hit. While his first studio album would go largely unnoticed until the release of his second studio album a day later, the buildup of all his work and dedication during this time paid off. Early experimental tracks like So Screamo, I Think I'll Scream, and WEAEWOLF are indicative of later works that already go off-genre. Asshole first gained notoriety with his track Marge Discharge, released in his second album. Throughout the song, he references Marge, and its popularity has spawned 2 named sequels and 1 spiritual successor in Bart's Back from the War. The repetition of Large Marge could symbolize her larger-than-life presence or an exaggerated persona. The lines, "Take the pain away with opioids," and "opioids in my head" suggests that Asshole may be using substances, specifically opioids, as a means of coping with pain. Possibly both physical and emotional, this pain could reflect a commentary on addiction or the struggle of dealing with overwhelming feelings. Marge in my bed might symbolize comfort or an escape from reality, as Marge could be a metaphor for something or someone that the narrator turns to for solace. Overall, the song seems to explore themes of dependency, pain, and the search for relief in a dark, possibly self-destructive way. Cocainamaine's rise. Upon gaining greater popularity years after the release of 1984, Cocainomaine took his artistic efforts much more seriously, oftentimes letting intergalactic business deals fall to the wayside. His music at the time of his return delves immediately back into the dark, gritty narrative, exploring themes of violence, addiction, and nihilism, allowing a glimpse into a world of crime, misogyny, and substance abuse. The line, "6 feet under, you're buried," introduces a fatalistic outlook, reminding the listener that death at his hands is a constant presence. The reference to someone who just got married and had a baby on the way, but had their day ended, reflects the ruthless nature of cocainomaine, who takes lives without remorse. The lyrics emphasize a sense of hopelessness and the inevitability of violence, as seen in the lines like, "If you meet me, you done lost your way," and "No fighting, pipe on my side and it might get hot." His life revolves around danger and aggression, suggesting a hardened attitude towards the world. Substance abuse. Substance abuse is a recurring theme, with mentions of benzos and perks, which are slang terms for benzodiazepines and Percocet, both powerful drugs. Cocainomaine has been known to reference anesthetics or tranquilizers, and was known to mix them frequently with 80 ounces of malt liquor. The speaker's dependence on these substances highlights a struggle with addiction, which drives them to desperate measures. Overall, the lyrics of the time period convey a bleak, chaotic existence where drugs, despair, and violence are ever present. Asshole Cocainomaine seems detached from traditional morals, finding pleasure in destruction and chaos, as reflected in lines like, "Do it for the sake, 'cause I think the shit is fun," and "For the fix I'll fight, shoot, killin' on the corner, fool me twice and I'll send you to the coroner." It's a raw portrayal of a life spiraling out of control. Asshole Cocainamaine's first death and resurrection. Asshole Cocainomaine was found tragically dead in his hotel room after the release of his album, Let 'Em Die. The album's content provides a glimpse into his troubled state of mind, reflecting themes of isolation, confusion, and a deep sense of disillusionment with the world around him. Below, some key lyrics that exemplify his mental state during the final days. In Joe Biden's America, I feel like I'm alone. The world is falling apart, and I'm lost in the unknown. Asshole Cocainomaine 3/4 expresses a feeling of being abandoned and overwhelmed by the current state of the world. By referencing Joe Biden's America, he points to the political and social climate as a source of his distress. The line, "The world is falling apart," suggests that he perceives society as crumbling, and this deterioration contributes to his personal feelings of being lost in the unknown. This could be interpreted as a cry for help, indicating that he feels disconnected and uncertain about his future. The loneliness he expresses here is profound, signaling a deep emotional struggle that may have contributed to his tragic end. South Park, where the cows roam free, where the kids are wild and the adults are crazy. We got Butters, Kenny, Kyle, Stan. They're the leaders of the punk rock band. In this lyric, Asshole Cocainomaine draws a comparison between his reality and the fictional world of South Park. The reference to "where the cows roam free" and "the kids are wild and the adults are crazy" reflects his perception of a world that has become chaotic and absurd. The mention of South Park characters Butters, Kenny, Kyle, and Stan as leaders of the punk rock band could symbolize his identification with the rebellious, countercultural elements of the show. South Park is known for its satirical take on social and political issues, often portraying society as dysfunctional and hypocritical. By aligning himself with these characters, Cocainomaine may be expressing a sense of solidarity with the disillusioned and marginalized. This lyric suggests that he sees the world as a place where traditional values and authority have broken down, leading to a sense of anarchy and confusion. I'm in a hotel room. I don't know how I got here. This lyric is haunting in its simplicity. It conveys a sense of disorientation and detachment from reality. The hotel room could symbolize a transient, unfamiliar space, reflecting Asshole Cocainomaine 3/4 mental state. He doesn't know how he arrived there, which may be an indicator of a loss of control over his life and surroundings. This could also suggest substance abuse, as the confusion and lack of memory may be a result of intoxication. The lyric paints a picture of someone who is lost, both physically and emotionally, struggling to make sense of their existence. It serves as an excellent metaphor for asshole cocainamaine's sense of adriftness in his life, without direction or purpose. What could have been done by his manager, Smokey Joe Brown? Smokey Joe Brown, as asshole cocainamaine 3/4 manager, played a crucial role in his career and likely had significant insight into his personal life and struggles. While it's impossible to say definitively what could have prevented this tragedy, he probably caused it directly because he used voodoo to resurrect him after he died.
He's right outside my office right now.
Mental health support. The lyrics from Let It Die clearly indicate asshole cocainamaine was struggling with deep emotional issues, including feelings of loneliness, disillusionment, and being stupid and poopy. Smokey Joe Brown should have encouraged him to seek professional mental support. The 48-hour-long standoff and slaughter of Smokey Joe, and the voodoo resurrection and arrest of cocainamaine. Smokey Joe Brown, the manager of the late SoundCloud rapper, met a dramatic and violent end during a 48-hour-long standoff with FBI agents on his expansive property known as Last Good Country. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Brown managed to hold off the FBI for 2 days, during which time he allegedly completed a voodoo ritual that resurrected cocainamaine. The FBI's involvement escalated quickly, with agents surrounding Brown's property and attempting to apprehend him. However, many have criticized the FBI's handling of the situation, arguing that they overstepped their boundaries. The use of excessive force, including the now banned sarin gas, along with other military-grade equipment and tactics, against a single individual on his private property, raised questions about the proportionality of their response. Some have pointed out that the standoff could have been resolved through negotiation rather than an all-out assault, as the agents fired the first 20,000 rounds from high-caliber small arms immediately after arriving. Aftermath. After the ritual, asshole cocainamaine 3/4, now resurrected, was arrested by authorities inside the burning compound. Despite his bizarre return to life, he immediately began working on a new album titled Atrocity. The title of this new album suggests that he will continue to explore dark and controversial themes, likely reflecting both his previous struggles and the surreal events surrounding his resurrection. Consequences for federal agencies. This entire sequence of events has sparked debate about the role of law enforcement and the limits of their authority, and the strange intersection of fame, power, and the supernatural in the world of asshole cocainamaine 3/4 and Smokey Joe Brown. While the FBI may have succeeded in ending the standoff, the methods they employed and the unintended consequences of their actions have left a lasting impact on those involved. The director of the FBI stepped down and refused questioning when asked about his involvement with the asshole voodoo shootout. Atrocity and release from prison. Atrocity, asshole cocainamaine 3/4 most popular album, marked a turning point in his career, released after his resurrection and time in prison. The album's first track, 1 Hour Sober, remains one of his most iconic songs. The lyrics of 1 Hour Sober reflect the chaotic and destructive lifestyle that has defined much of asshole cocainamaine 3/4's persona. In the song, he describes feeling like he's slipping down the drain and melting away, conveying a sense of loss of control and self-identity. The line, "I ain't seen my face in 42 days, further emphasizes his disconnection from reality, as if he's become a stranger to himself. Despite this turmoil, the song also showcases his defiance and resilience. He boasts about his wrist can dance and ability to send shots straight through your truck, blending imagery of wealth and violence, as despite the reflections from the diamonds on his wrist dancing and making him blind, he won't miss his shots. The reference to smoking on some bud that's purple like muck ties into the consistent themes of drug use and escapism, with muck being a nod to a dark, oozing creature from the Pokemon series, perhaps symbolizing the toxic lifestyle he's immersed in. 1 hour sober encapsulates the essence of asshole cocainomaine 3/4 artistry. Raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic, making it a standout track in his most celebrated album. Upon its release to the public, his release was demanded and granted after a couple weeks in court. With much better mastering equipment available, Wangan and A Great Big Orgy on Capitol Hill were re-released as singles. AGBOOCH. AGBOOCH, or A Great Big Orgy on Capitol Hill, is a powerful expression of anger and disillusionment with the political and societal systems that cocainomaine perceives as corrupt and destructive. It combines biting social commentary with a sense of hopelessness, reflecting the struggles of a generation that feels betrayed by those in power. Through his raw and unfiltered lyrics, cocainomaine voices the frustrations of a society on the brink, where the lines between right and wrong, blame and accountability have become increasingly blurred. He offers a scathing critique of political and societal structures, focusing particularly on the perceived failures of both career politicians and the societal norms they perpetuate. The song reflects a deep disillusionment with the current state of affairs, lashing out at figures like Joe Biden as symbolic of broader systemic issues. Cocainamaine's poignant argument. Political disillusionment. The lyrics express frustration with career politicians, portraying them as self-serving and corrupt. The line, "The real criminals are the career politicians," highlights the belief that those in power are out of touch with the struggles of ordinary people. The imagery of a great big orgy on Capitol Hill emphasizes the perceived decadence and moral decay of the political elite. Societal critique. The song takes aim at various aspects of modern society, from big pharmaceutical companies to societal norms like OnlyFans. There's a sense of hopelessness and resignation in lines like "Why even bother today?" and "We'll fight for ourselves 'cause no one else will," suggesting that the speaker feels abandoned by the systems that are supposed to support people. Generational blame. The lyrics explore the idea of passing blame between generations, with lines like, "It's the fault of the new generation you raised," and "No, it's nobody's fault, but we'll all be fucked anyways." This reflects the feelings of frustration, of being trapped in a cycle of blame and guilt, with no clear solution in sight. Cynicism and despair. The speaker questions the value of modern life, pointing out the hollowness of existence in a world dominated by consumerism and addiction. The references to on-demand whores, drug corner stores, and big pharmacies paint a bleak picture of a society that profits off of people's vices and suffering. Economic and social collapse. The lyrics also touch on broader issues like rising oil prices, economic instability, and increasing suicide rates. There's a sense of impending doom, and cocainomaine is privy to the idea that things will continue to get worse. A few singles have surfaced from this time, but most have never seen full releases. Many are lost, as his manager was often quoted saying, "He'd trash weeks of work and thousands of dollars worth of songs just 'cause he'd get pissed off. He was a perfectionist for damn sure. I can't say the world would be the same without him. I'd honestly go as far as to say that I'd do voodoo magic to resurrect the guy. Don't quote me on that, though." Smokey Joe Brown, Cocainamaine's manager. Live Fast, Die. The final album released by Cocainamaine before his disappearance. It was released to much acclaim, but was forgotten quickly. It's unfortunate that its reception was poor, as we may have gotten much more from the young, talented, beautiful, billionaire philanthropist that was asshole Cocainamaine. After Live Fast, Die, Cocainamaine retired. Nobody knows where he went, or if he's alive at all. His status is ultimately unconfirmed at this time.